Good evening, one and all. I am Anaga from Panchajanya. Panchajanya, the divine conch of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, which was blown during Kurukshetra, indicating the start of Dharma Yuddha that followed. Where all the efforts were done for the establishment of Dharma was kept over personal relations and motives. Keeping the same motto in mind, our organization will work towards establishing the importance and necessity of following and imbibing Bharatiya culture, accepting our roots, and making people realize the true essence of Ayurveda, not only as a treatment modality but also as a way of life. All this while walking in a path of Dharma. Hence the motto Shreyam Bharatiyam Arogyam Ayurvediyam. The founders of this organization started this because we felt the need to spread the knowledge of Bharatiya culture, Ayurveda, the true history of Bharata Shastra, and the values to all the peoples in every corner of the world. Also, the founders being Ayurveda aspirants, known the inside out of today's medical field, hence they aim to make people aware of this and also try their best to solve this on the go. With this aim in mind, I would like to welcome you all to the lecture series conducted for first year students. Today we have Dr. Savitha ma'am with us, who is presently working as a professor in Department of PG Studies in Ayurveda, Samhita and Siddhanta. Ma'am has completed BAMS MD in Ayurveda Siddhanta. Ma'am has pursued MA in Sanskrit. Ma'am is currently pursuing PhD on comprehensive analysis of Charaka Samhita Sharirasthana. Ma'am has also been awarded with Ayur Visharadha Award. Ma'am has secured 7th rank in MA Sanskrit in Karnataka state. Ma'am has published various articles in national and international journals. Ma'am has also been a resource person in Ayurveda. Ma'am, we are really honored for having you on this session, ma'am. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am, I will be handing over the session. You can carry over the session, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anaga. Good evening, everybody. So, I have been asked to give you a examination related orientation. So, I'll be dealing with Anumana Pramana, which is your fourth syllabus point in topic Padartha Vijnana paper 2. Okay. Uh, I request you all, I have put slide numbers. So, as and when you have some doubts, you can note it down so that we can have interaction at the end of the session. Feel free to ask whatever doubts you have. So, Anumana is one of the topics which has a bit of complicated terms in it. So, before we dive into what Anumana Pramana exactly is, let us learn the terms that are there in this. And for MCQ questions that you have in examination, these terms will be useful. They will give you what is the relation between Hetu and Sadhya called as. You will have options like Vyapti, Paramarsha, Paksha Dharmata. Similar things will be there. So we need to learn the terms that are there in Anumana Pramana. So let's first start with the term Anumana itself. So Anumana means it is inference, which is a tool for knowledge, right? Inference as a tool for knowledge is Anumana Pramana. Anumiti Karanam Anumanam, that is the definition. So Karana is a tool or a specific cause for Anumiti Jnana. Now the question is, what is Anumiti? So Anumiti is inferential knowledge, right? See, when we see something directly, it is pratyaksha. Through our indriyas, if we see something, we know it easily. But if we see a part and we have to infer other things and get knowledge, that is anumiti, inferential knowledge, right? Anumiti is defined as paramarsha janya jnanam anumitihi. The knowledge born out of analysis is called as anumiti. Now the question comes, how do we define paramarsha? So paramarsha, it is said, vyapti qualified with paksha dharmata is paramarsha. That is, vyapti vishishta paksha dharmata jnanam paramarsha. Now again, you have two terms that we don't know, that is vyapti and paksha dharmata, right? So we will learn what is vyapti. Vyapti is the inseparable relation between hetu and sadhya. Hetu sadhyayoho sahacharya niyamo vyaptihi. So the relation between hetu and sadhya, the sahacharya, they being together, is a niyama. It is always together. Then it is called as vyapti. Hetu and sadhya inseparably being together always is known as vyapti. Then the term paksha dharmata is understood as presence of hetu on a paksha is paksha dharmata. So what is paksha? Paksha is the place where you are trying to prove something, right? Unlike pratyaksha, whole thing is not visible. You see something based on which you prove something else. And all this, hetu and sadhya will be present in a place. That place is called paksha. Sadhya is the thing which you are trying to prove. The unseen thing which you are trying to prove is called as sadhya. And hetu is the visible thing based on which you are proving the sadhya. Hetu, therefore, is most essential in Anumana Pramana, right? Unlike Pratyaksha, not everything is visible here. Hetu is the only visible factor. Hetu is present on Paksha and it is visible on the Paksha, based on which you try and infer the sadhya. Let's move on. This is the flow chart giving you an explanation of Anumana Pramana. If you see in the center, you have Paksha. On the Paksha, you have Hetu, which is visible. This Hetu being present on the Paksha is called Paksha Dharmata. On the same Paksha, Sadhya will be present, but Sadhya will not be visible. So on seeing Hetu, you will prove the Sadhya. How come you can prove the Sadhya? Because Hetu and Sadhya have an inseparable relation called as Vyapti. Now, once you have Hetu on the Paksha, that is Paksha Dharmata, and you have Vyapti between Hetu and Sadhya, based on Paksha Dharmata and Vyapti, you can do analysis, Paramarsha. And from Paramarsha, you get the knowledge Anumiti. And this whole process of deriving Anumiti Jnana is Anumana. That is what Anumana Pramana is all about. Okay, you should understand, unlike cause, Hetu here is not just a cause. Hetu here in Anumana Pramana is the visible entity always. The visible entity will always be called as Hetu. I am stressing on this because if I say I have burning sensation in eyes because of Pitta, just because I said Pitta as the Karana doesn't mean Pitta is the Hetu here. Burning sensation will be indicated by the patient to you, right? So what is visible or understood to you is burning sensation. Based on that, you will say Pitta Vriddhi has occurred. That is Sadhya. Just because something is a cause, it doesn't become Hetu. Only that which is visible in Anumana Pramana is called as Hetu. Make this clear. It will help you in your activity and practical exam. Let's move on to the next slide. Anytime you feel you're not understanding something or I'm going fast, please feel free to ask. Okay. So, you know, this word Anumana is derived from Anu plus Ma plus Plut Pratyaya, where Anu usually means following. Ma is the dhatu here indicating mana and Plut is the Pratyaya added. So Anumana basically follows Pratyaksha. You should see one entity to prove or infer another entity. Hence, Pratyaksha is an essentiality here. Hence, Anumana follows Pratyaksha. Okay, there are several definitions given for Anumana. Few of them I have listed here. See to it you learn at least two of them for examination when you have been asked about definition of Anumana. Make sure you learn minimum two. Do not just write Anumiti Karanam Anumanam. That is the shortest and it is all the more a nirukti. Okay, it is almost like a derivation. Though it is a definition, it is a very short one. Don't limit yourself to that. Explain a bit more. Okay, Yena Anumiyate Tat Anumanam, by which Anumana is done. That tool is called as Anumana. Linga Paramarsho Anumanaha. Anumana is where we analyze based on Hetu. Linga Lingi Sambandha Janyatvam Anumanam. That is, Linga is Hetu, Lingi is Sadhya. Based on the Vyapti between these two, what inferential knowledge we get is called as Anumana. Mitena Lingena Arthasya Paschatmanam Anumanam. Mitena Lingena, limited Hetu. See, your Pratyaksha is very limited here. You see one part only. What you see? Hetu. That is limited. Limited vision or limited perception of the Hetu. Arthasya paschat manaha, helping you to get the knowledge later about Sadhya. This is called as Anumana. Vastu yat paroksham, that which is not visible, that is Sadhya. Tat anupratyakshat, that is known after pratyaksha of which one? Hetu. Once you see Hetu, after that unseen sadhya is understood. Paschat yat miyate jnayate tat anumanam. So the knowledge that is attained later after pratyaksha of the Hetu is called as Anumana. This is given by Gangadhara. Next one is Charaka's definition of Anumana. I expect that in examination you all learn this well. Anumanam khalu tarko yukti apeksha. Anumana is one pramana which essentially requires the combination of tarka and yukti in it. We will of course learn what tarka is towards the end of this presentation because that is also one of the syllabus points. So tarka or an analysis along with planned way of understanding things, when put together you get Anumana. Charaka gives 3 examples for Anumana, but there the first line is almost the definition. He says, Pratyaksha Purvam Trividham Trikalam Cha Anumiyate. Okay, so Pratyaksha Purva, that which always requires Pratyaksha initially. Trividham, it is of 3 types based on Trikala, that is Vartamana Kalika, Bhuta Kalika, and Bhavishyat Kalika. These are the 3 types of Anumana, he says, and he gives the examples below. I will not explain the examples here. Next, when we do classification of Anumana by Charaka, there I will give you the examples and explanation. So basically, these are few of the definitions of Anumana Pramana. Now, because Hetu is the major entity that is required to be understood, we will see what Hetu is. Also, in examination, Hetu definition and types is 5 marks question. Hetu is also called as Linga. It is also called as Vyapya. Okay, Leenam, that which is, Leena means that which is imbibed inside, which is not visible outside. Antarhitam, which is hidden inside. Antarhitam. Aprathyaksham, not perceived through sense organs. Artham gamayati, which helps us to get the knowledge of artha or sadhya. Buddhi vishayatam nayati, takes us near to the knowledge through anumana. Yat tat lingam, that is called as linga or hetu. So hetu is that entity which helps us to understand about the artha or sadhya. It itself is leena, antarhita and apratyaksha. Also, another definition says, Vyapti balena arthagamakam lingam. Hetu is the one which helps us to know the sadhya because of its vyapti with the sadhya. Right? Hetu and sadhya are having a inseparable relation. So, Hetu is there, sadhya has to be there. This relation is the reason why we can do Anumana. So, Vyapti Balena, because of the strength of Vyapti between Hetu and Sadhya, the knowledge that we get is called as Anumana. And that entity which has this Vyapti with the Sadhya is Hetu. So, we have 2 definitions of Hetu. One which tells how the Hetu will be. Another which tells Hetu is the one which has Vyapti with Sadhya. Moving on. Now that I said sadhya, you should know what sadhya is. The apratyaksha vastu is sadhya. Sadhaniyam vishayam pakshashritam anumanagrahyam sadhyam. That entity which is to be proven, which is residing on the paksha just like the hetu, and which is derived through anumana pramana is called as sadhya. We had learned the term paksha dharmata, right? Hetu being present on paksha, that is defined here. Hetoho pakshe vrittitvam paksha dharmata. Presence of hetu on the paksha is called paksha dharmata. Paksha, I said, is the location where hetu and sadhya are present, right? By definition, it says Sandigdha Sadhyavan Pakshaha, that place where you are doubting the sadhya, where you are yet to prove the sadhya, it is not yet proven. Hetu is visible, you are yet to prove. Where you doubt the sadhya, that place is called as paksha. Sandigdha sadhyavan pakshaha. Then there is a term called sapaksha. What is sapaksha? Nishchita sadhyavan sapakshaha. The place where the thing is already proven, where sadhya is already proven. Nishchita sadhyavan. Sadhya is certainly there. Such place is sapaksha. Vipaksha is nishchita sadhya abhavavan. The place where sadhya is definitely absent is called as vipaksha. Of course, we have this usual example where we say Parvato Vanniman, there is fire on the mountain. So mountain becomes the paksha. Here you are seeing the smoke and guessing you are inferring that there is fire. So fire is still doubtful. So that is paksha. In kitchen, you have seen smoke and fire together. So there fire is already known to be present, definitely present. That is sapaksha. On a water body, there is no smoke and there cannot be fire. So such place where fire can never be present is called as vipaksha. Okay, these are the terminologies. Then when we go ahead with classification, we will need few more terms. One of them is drishtanta or udaharana. Okay. Vyapti pratipaditam drishtanta vachanam udaharanam. Udaharana basically is an example which you take as an illustration to demonstrate the relation between hetu and sadhya. To establish the vyapti, whatever illustrations you give are called as examples. Of course, another definition says, Atha drishtanto nama yat murkha vidusham buddhi samyam varnyam varnayati. Drishtanta or example should always be such that it should be understood well by both who have lower IQ and those who have higher IQ. Irrespective of their IQ, everybody should be able to understand. Only then the example is called to be good. For example, if I have to give you an example for something that is hot, I will say Agnihi Ushno. Fire is the best example I can give. Everybody will understand. If I have to give example for Dravatva, liquidity, I will give the example of water, Udaka. If I have to give example of stability or that which can bear things well, I will say Prithvi, Dhara. That can, forbear things on it. Sthira it is. And if I have to give an example for light, Prakasha, then I will select Aditya or Surya. These examples can be understood by everybody equally, hence they are good examples. Now that we have understood what Anumana is, Anumana Pramana is, let us understand what are the classifications of Anumana. In examination, for 10 marks question, usually you will be asked, define Anumana, classify various types of Anumana and explain. Okay, so this you should understand. Charaka directly does not mention the types. He gives only examples. It is Chakrapani in his Tika who gives what are the types. So the types given by Chakrapani are Karanat Karya Anumana, also called as Anagata. Anagata Kala means Bhavishya Kala. Bhavishya Kalika Anumana. Okay, Karanat Karya. Inferring something that is going to happen later, Karya, effect, based on the cause. By the cause, you infer the effect. Karanat Karya Anumana. So you are going to infer about future, Anagata Kala, like Bijat Phalam Anagatam. By seed, you infer that later it will grow into plant and give rise to fruitation. Fruits will come out, right? So you are inferring about the future. Second type is Karyat Karananumana. Seeing the effect, you infer the cause. So you are going back in time. Atita Kalika Anumana. Like Maithunam Garbhadarshanat. You see that the lady is pregnant and you infer that there has been Maithuna or sexual activity. Okay, so you go back in time. Then the third type of Anumana is Akarya Karani Bhuta Samanyato Drishta Anumana. Now here neither Karya is present later or Karana is present before. Here both the Karya and the Karana are present at the same time in the present tense. So this is Vartamana Kalika Anumana, like Vannir Nigodho Dhumena. That is just like you infer fire by smoke. Okay, here both fire and smoke you will be seeing in front of your eyes at the same time. Both are at the same time. So it is Vartamana Kalika Anumana. So this is the three type of Anumana given by Chakrapani. The examples are told by Charaka directly in the shloka. The next classification is by Nyaya Darshana. They divide Anumana into three types: Purvavat, Sheshavat, and Samanyato Drishta. Purva, that which exists before, is Karana, right? So, seeing the Karana, inferring the Karya is what they are meaning here. So, just like Karanat Karya Anumana given by Charaka and Chakrapani, same is Purvavat Anumana. You see something and infer something that will come up in future is called Purvavat Anumana. For example, Megha Darshanat Varsham. You see the clouds and infer that it is going to rain later. So, inference of the future is Purvavat Anumana. Then comes Sheshavat Anumana. Shesha is reminder of that which comes later. So, seeing the effect, inferring the cause. So, this is again inferring the past tense related. This is Sheshavat. Example is, you see Roga and you infer the Dosha Dusha Samurchana has happened. You see there is flood in the river and then you say maybe it rained a lot before. Okay, so inferring the past is Sheshavat. Samanyato Drishta Anumana, where both cause and effect are coexistent. So, like if a person has Ichha, Dvesha, Sukha, Dukkha, Prayatna, Chetana, Dhriti, you know these are Atma Lakshanas. So, you know the person is living still. He has Atma in him. So, by seeing Nimesha, Unmesha, Shwasa, etc. going on, you know the person is still having Chaitanya. Both things are present at the given moment. It is not inferring past or future. It is inference at the present only. So that is Samanyato Drishta. So this is two classifications, one by Charaka, one by Nyaya Darshana. The last classification is given by Tarka Sangraha. And this is important for examination because here he divides Anumana not based on tenses, not based on Kala, but based on who is getting the Anumana Jnana. See, if you infer for yourself, then it is Swartha Anumana. For one's own self, if you are doing the inference, it is Swartha. If you are inferring and helping somebody else understand it, for other person's explanation, you are going to tell the inference, it is Parartha, for the sake of others. The Anumana is done. So, he says Anumanam Dvividham, Sartham, Swartham, Parartham Cha. Swartha Anumana, he defines it as Swartha Anumiti Hetuhu, Swarthanumanam, or Swartha Pratipatti Hetuhu, Swarthanumanam. Okay, that which is for self, such is called as Swarthanumana. And that which is for explaining to others will be Parartha. Now, when I tell something to myself, I don't have to be very logical or orderly, right? I see, I believe what I see. So it involves just these 6 steps in Swarthanumana. What does it require? You should have the knowledge of Vyapti prior. For example, let us take the usual one, Vanni and Dhuma relation. You have seen at home that whenever there is cooking going on, from the chimney, smoke is coming out. So even from outside, if you see smoke is there, you know cooking is going on inside the house. Fire is lit. So you should have seen this relation between smoke and fire prior. You should have a previous knowledge of Vyapti. Then, next what is required when you are moving somewhere, you should see the Hetu on the Paksha. That is, you should see that there is smoke on the mountain. Now see, I can just see the smoke and just move ahead saying there is a smoke. Then I won't do Swarthanumana. If I am interested in knowing why there is smoke, only then I will go towards Anumana. Otherwise, I will say by Pratyaksha, there is smoke on the mountain, I will move ahead. So when I see smoke, I should have the desire to prove that there is fire. This desire is called sisadhaisha, desire to prove something. So when I see the smoke on the mountain, I should wish to prove the sadhya. And how will I do that? I will recall the vyapti. That is the fourth step. I will recall the vyapti between dhuma and vani. Then I will do an analysis. I will say, wherever there is dhuma, there is always fire. As there is dhuma on the mountain, there should be fire on the mountain. This is the analysis I will do. Paramarsha. That is the fifth step. Last step, based on Paramarsha, I will get Anumiti Jnana. That is, I will say, there is Vanni on the Parvata. There is fire on the mountain. So the 6 steps are previous knowledge of Vyapti, seeing Hetu on the Paksha, wanting to prove the Sadhya on the Paksha, recalling the Vyapti, doing Paramarsha, last is getting Anumiti Jnana. So these are the 6 steps of Swarthanumana. Next we have Pararthanumana. Now when I have to explain the same thing to somebody else, what will I do? When I have to explain it to somebody else, I will be more logical. The logical way of explaining Pararthanumana is done through Pancha Avayava Vakya. 5 parts of syllogism it is called. Okay, that includes Pratignya, Hetu, Udaharana, Upanaya and Nigamana. These are the 5 steps through which I will explain inference to somebody else. Let us see what those are. Okay. So Pratignya, when I say Pratignya nama Sadhya Vachanam, Sadhyavattaya Paksha Vachanam. Pratigya is stating what I want to prove. That is Pratignya. Like I want to prove there is fire on the mountain. Parvato Vanniman will be my Pratignya. What I want to prove, I will state it. Hetu means Hetur Nama Upalabdhi Sadhanam, through which I will prove the Pratignya, that is Hetu. So I said there is fire on the mountain. Why do I say it? Because there is smoke on the mountain. So because there is smoke becomes my Hetu. Usually Hetu will be in Panchami Vibhakti. It will be Dhumat, due to Dhuma being there. Pratignya, Hetu, then comes Udaharana. To prove to somebody, see, I saw the smoke and I say there is fire. I should give him my example why I believe on seeing smoke there is fire, right? So I will give them my example saying, just like in the kitchen, just like in kitchen when we see smoke, there will be fire lit. Just like if there is no smoke, there will never be fire on a water body. Here there is smoke on the mountain, which means there should be fire there. This type of example that I give, kitchen, water body, positive and negative examples I will give. Kitchen is the positive example where smoke and fire are present. Water body is a negative example where neither smoke nor fire will be present. So these examples are called as Udaharana, which I give to prove my Pratignya. Then the 4th step is Upanaya. Upanaya means Upasamipe Nayati iti Upanayam. That which takes you nearer to proving your Pratignya. How do you take things nearer? Now you say, just like in the example of kitchen, so it is in the example of this mountain. Just like in kitchen, when there is smoke, there is fire. Similarly, here on the mountain, there is smoke and there has to be fire. So when I take my example near to the thing I am trying to prove, this taking near is called as Upanaya. Last is Nigamana. Nigamana is conclusion. Nigamana usually is restating our Pratignya with the Hetu. So Pratignya Punarvachanam Nigamanam. I will say Dhumatvat Parvato Vanniman. As there is smoke, there is fire on the mountain. Conclusive statement. Okay. When I say Upanaya, Tathacha Ayam, just like the example, even the case in question, I will say by Upanaya. By Nigamana, I will say Tasmat Tatha. That's why it is like this. This is concluding. I repeat, Pratignya is stating what I want to prove. Hetu is giving reasons for what I want to prove. Udaharana is giving an example to prove my Pratignya. Upanaya is taking my example near to my Pratignya. Nigamana is concluding and restating my pratigna. Right? So summary for Pararthanumana is Parvato Vanniman Dhumat Yatha Mahanasa Tatha cha Ayam Tasmat Tatha. Therefore, Dhumatvat Parvato Vanniman. This is how you usually prove to others about whatever you infer. Okay? Usually for Pararthanumana, initial Swarthanumana is essential. First, you should infer something, only then you can explain it to others. Okay? Coming next, this is another question for 5 marks that is asked in examination. That is Vyapti Bheda and definition. Definition we have already done earlier. Hetu sadhyayoho sahacharya niyamaha vyapti, right? Now, when coming to Bheda, see relation with somebody. This Vyapti is a relation, right? Inseparable relation. Relation can either be positive or a negative relation at a given moment. You can either like somebody or dislike somebody at a given moment. You can't do both at a given time, right? So Vyapti is just of two types. Anvaya, positive concomitance, Vyatireka, negative concomitance. If I say, if Hetu is present, Sadhya has to be present. I am telling it in positive sense. This is Anvaya Vyapti. But if I say, if Sadhya is not there, Hetu also cannot be there. So I am telling in negative statement, this is Vyatireka Vyapti. So Yatra Yatra Dhumaha Tatra Tatra Vannihi is Anvaya Vyapti, positive concomitance. Yatra Vannir Nasti Tatra Dhumo Api Nasti. Where there is no fire, there cannot be smoke, is Vyatireka Vyapti or negative concomitance. So defining Vyapti and writing these two types with the example will be a 5 marks question in examination. Okay. Similarly, they'll ask you define Hetu and types of Hetu. This is again 5 marks question. When we ask you to define Hetu, you remember we had given two definitions: Leenam, Antarhitam, Aprathyaksham, Lingam, Artham Gamayati. That is one definition of Hetu. And Vyapti Balena, Artha Pratipadakam. That is the second definition for Hetu. Okay, so Hetu basically is the sadhana or the tool through which you prove the sadhya. Now, this Hetu can involve in Vyapti in 3 ways: Kevala Anvayi, Kevala Vyatireki, Anvaya Vyatireki. Let me explain. Now, there are a few instances where you can quote the sentence that is of Vyapti between Hetu and Sadhya only in Anvaya sense, only positively. Negative will not make any sense. For example, if I take Yatra abhideyatva is there. Yatra prameyatvam, tatra abhideyatvam. Whichever can be known can be named is my statement. This is correct. Now let me tell it in a negative sense. Those things cannot be named which cannot be known, I'll tell. But see, there are many things that we do not know and still name. Like, we don't know much about God and all. We have not seen moksha and we do not have the full explanation of moksha. And still we name it as moksha. Right? So, though we don't know a few things, we name it. Not only that, you know everything in the world is prameya. Everything in the world will give you some or the other knowledge. So the moment I say yatra abhideyatvam nasti tatra prameyatvam api nasti, there is nothing in the world which does not have prameyatva. So the moment I say prameyatvam nasti, the sentence becomes wrong. I can never say there are things which do not have prameyatva, right? Everything in the world is a prameya. So this sentence does not make sense when spoken in negative. But it will give a proper meaning when I speak it positively. Yatra yatra prameyatvam, tatra tatra abhideyatvam. Wherever there is prameyatva, wherever there is knowability, there we can have nameability. This is right only in positive sense. Hence, this hetu is called as kevala anvayi hetu. Only in anvaya it makes sense. Then there is other, which is kevala vyatireki. This one will be right only in negative sense. In positive, it won't make sense. For example, let me take yatra yatra gandhatvam tatra tatra prithvi. Wherever there is fragrance, there has to be prithvi mahabhuta. The statement is not certainly wrong, But just imagine, I have a perfume which is fragrant. By seeing the perfume, do you feel it is Prithvi Mahabhuta Pradhana or Jala Mahabhuta Pradhana or Vayu Pradhana? So you cannot be sure it is Prithvi Pradhana, though it has Gandha. So this statement is not completely true, that whenever you have a good fragrance somewhere, there should be Prithvi only, right? There will be other Mahabhutas also. But when I say the same statement in negative sense, yatra prithvi nasti, tatra gandhatvam nasti. Without prithvi Mahabhuta, gandha is not possible. That is very true. Gandha is only present due to prithvi. So in negative, it makes complete sense. Hence, this is kevala vyatireki hetu. It makes total sense when told in negative. In positive, it is not so right. And there are few others which make sense both in positive and negative sentence. Those hetus are called anvaya vyatireki. For example, yatra yatra dhumaha tatra tatra vannihi, yatra vannirnasti tatra dhumo api nasti. Both are correct sentences. So in positive you tell it or negative you tell, both are correct. Such hetu is called anvaya vyatireki. I repeat, vyapti is of two types. Anvaya vyapti, vyatireka vyapti. Hetu is of three types. Kevalanvayi, kevala vyatireki, anvaya vyatireki. Okay, these are the three types of hetu. Apart from this, one more classification of hetu is given: sad hetu and asad hetu. Sad hetu means good hetu. Asad hetu, ahetu or hetvabhasa means bad hetu, faulty hetu. So how do you know any hetu is good? Sad hetu means it should have 5 characters. The 5 characters are pakshe sattvam. It should be present on the paksha. Good hetu should always be present on paksha. Sapakshe sattvam. It should always be present on sapaksha. What is sapaksha? Where sadhya is already proven. Sadhya is there means hetu also should be there, right? So sapaksha also hetu should be there. Vipakshe asatva. The hetu should never be present on vipaksha. Why? Vipaksha means place where sadhya is absent. Where sadhya is absent, hetu should also be absent. Hence, good hetu should not be present in a place where sadhya is not present. So, good hetu should be absent on vipaksha. Asat pratipakshatva. If there is a hetu X, there should not be hetu Y opposing it. One hetu X is proving something, there should not be another hetu Y which is an opponent and disproves what hetu X is proving. So, asat is not having, pratipaksha is opponent. Hetu should not have another hetu as an opponent. Abadhitatva is the last one. Abadhitatva means hetu in Anumana Pramana, whatever it proves, should not be disproved by another Pramana, like Pratyaksha, Aptopadesha, etc. I repeat, 5 characters of a good hetu are: it should be present on paksha, it should be present on sapaksha, it should not be present on vipaksha, it should not have an opponent hetu, and it should not be opposed by other pramanas. Pakshe sattvam, sapakshe sattvam, vipakshe asatvam, asat pratipakshatvam, and abadhitatvam. Now, these 5 characters are told for good hetu. Any one character missing also will make it a hetu or hetvabhasa. Okay, that's the next point in Anumana Pramana, hetvabhasa. So, in hetvabhasa, these are the hetus which hetuvat abhasante. They appear like a hetu, but dushta hetavaha iti arthaha. But they are bad hetus actually. Anumiti pratibandhakam yathartha jnana vishayatvam hetvabhasaha. When you go in pursuit of, when you go to get knowledge, whatever obstructs you, such hetu will be hetvabhasa. To get anumiti jnana, whichever hetu is an obstruction, bad, such hetu is hetvabhasa. Just like 5 good characters were there are 5 defects in hetu. Okay, the defects are doshascha, vyabhichara. First defect is vyabhichara. Second defect is virodha. Pratipaksha is the third one. Asiddhi is the fourth defect. Badha is the fifth defect in the hetu. Based on this, 5 hetva bhasas have been quoted. Now let me tell you, this is a 10 marks question in examination. They will first ask you, define hetva bhasa, write one of the two definitions that is displayed here, and then the 5 types of hetva bhasas are these based on the dosha. If the dosha is vyabhichara dosha, that is rule of exception, there is exception in the hetu, then it is savyabhichara hetva bhasa. If there is virodha, then it is viruddha hetva bhasa. Here the hetu, instead of proving sadhya, will be disproving the sadhya. Opposite work it will be doing. Pratipaksha, having opponent, then it is called sat pratipaksha hetva bhasa. Asiddhi, asiddhi is unproven. We will see the details later. Unproven is the meaning here. Asiddha type of hetva bhasa, it will lead to badha is the dosha. Then the type of hetva bhasa is badhita. Whenever there is obstruction to anumana by other pramanas, then it is called badha. Okay, I repeat. Vyabhichara, virodha, pratipaksha, asiddhi and badha are the 5 defects. And based on the 5 defects, 5 hetva bhasas are told. Savyabhichara, viruddha, sat pratipaksha, asiddha and badhita. Let us take up one by one. First is savyabhichara. Savyabhicharaha anekantikah sa trividaha sadharana, asadharana, anupasamhari bhedat. So savyabhichara is anekantika, non-conclusive. Why? It is of 3 types. Sadharana, asadharana, anupasamhari are the types. Now here you will see that first 3 good hetu lakshanas, one of them will be missing. Pakshe sattva, sapakshe sattva, vipakshe asattva. One of these 3 character will be missing here. In sadharana savyabhichara hetva bhasa, tatra sadhya abhavavat vrittihi sadharana anekantikah. Let me take an example so that it is more clear. Let me take the second one. Iyam gauhu vishanitvat. This animal in front of me is a cow as it has horns. Let me identify which is the hetu here. As it has horns is the hetu. Now let me check if the hetu is good. Is the hetu present in the paksha? The thing in front of me, does it have horn? Yes. So pakshe sattva is there. Sapaksha are all the cows in the world are sapaksha. Are there horns on all the cows? Yes. So sapaksha also this hetu is present. Now vipaksha are any animal other than cow is vipaksha. Buffalo is there, deer is there, right? But these have horns. In vipaksha hetu should not have been present. Now in vipaksha also this hetu is present. That's why it is hetva bhasa. It is not a good hetu because it is present on vipaksha. Now this is commonly present in paksha, sapaksha, vipaksha. Hence it is called sadharana savyabhichara hetva bhasa. Okay, commonly present. Hence the word sadharana is used for this type. The second type is asadharana. Sarva sapaksha vipaksha vyavritaha asadharana. It is not present in sapaksha also, vipaksha also. Let me take the example. Shabdaha nityaha shabdatvat. Shabda is nitya because it has shabdatva. Here hetu is shabdatva. Now shabdatva hetu, is it present in shabda? Shabda is the paksha here, okay? In shabda, is there shabdatva? Yes. Now which are the other sapakshas? All the nitya dravyas are sapaksha. But is this shabdatva present in any other nitya dravya apart from shabda? No. So this hetu is present only in paksha. It is neither present in sapaksha and vipaksha are all anitya dravyas. All anitya dravyas also won't have shabdatva because shabdatva is present only in shabda, in the paksha only. So this hetu problem is sapakshe sattva character is missing. It is not even present in sapaksha. And as this hetu is so uncommon, it is only present in paksha, not even present in sapaksha, it is called asadharana savyabhichara hetva bhasa. Okay. The last type in savyabhichara is anupasamhari. This is an easier one. Whenever you use the word sarva in paksha, it is anupasamhari hetva bhasa. Because see, sarvam anityam prameyatvat. Hetu is prameyatva, knowledgeability. Everything is anitya because they have knowledgeability. Now this knowledgeability is present in paksha. Paksha is sarva here. Yes, knowledgeability is there in everything. Now, you tell which are the sapakshas. All anitya dravyas will be sapaksha. I say table, chair, etc. But that example is not right for sapaksha because sarva is there in paksha. Everything is included in paksha. So you do not have examples for sapaksha and vipaksha here. Right? You do not have sapaksha and vipaksha at all. So you cannot test whether the hetu is present in sapaksha and vipaksha. Hence, this is the hetu which is present only in paksha and not in sapaksha and vipaksha, because sapaksha and vipaksha example itself is non-existent. This is about the three types of first type of hetvabhasa. Savyabhichara hetvabhasa has three subtypes: sadharana, asadharana, anupasamhari. Okay. The next type is viruddha hetvabhasa, second type. Viruddha means opposite. Instead of proving the sadhya, if the hetu disproves the sadhya, then it is called viruddha hetvabhasa. Sadhya abhava vyapto hetuhu viruddha. Hetu should be present where sadhya is present. If hetu is present where sadhya is absent, it is a viruddha hetvabhasa. Example, shabdo nityah kritakatvat. You are trying to prove nityata of shabda. Nityata is eternal. And you are using a cause because it is artificially produced. Remember, anything that is produced can be destroyed, and hence that cannot be eternal. So the hetu you are using, artificiality or producibility, can never prove eternity. Instead, it proves anything is anitya. So here, hetu, instead of proving nityata, is proving anityata. Few more examples are, this is rabbit as it has horns. You know, rabbit does not have horns, right? So the horn as a hetu is not proving that it is rabbit. Instead, it is proving it is anything but rabbit. It is not a rabbit, it is proving. This is vata jwara because there is netra daha. If I tell, it is wrong. You know, daha is the lakshana of pitta. So netra daha, I cannot take it as a reason to prove it is vataja. Right? Here, instead of proving it is vataja, it is proving it is pittaja. So instead of proving the sadhya, it is disproving the sadhya. This is viruddha hetvabhasa. Sat pratipaksha, I already told. If there is a hetu x which is proving something, there should not be a hetu y which is disproving that thing. For example, let me take shabdah nityah shravanatvat. The sound is nitya because there is shravanatva, it is audible. Okay. Now, audibility is trying to prove shabda is nitya. Now, there is another sentence, shabdah anityah kritakatvat. So, as sound is produced, it is anitya. It is non-eternal. Now, you see, same paksha. Shabda is the paksha. We have two hetus, x and y. Shravanatva and kritakatva. X is proving nityata of shabda. Shravanatva is proving shabda is nitya. Y, that is kritakatva hetu, is proving shabda is anitya. Now it is non-conclusive. You don't know whether shabda is nitya or anitya because one hetu says it is nitya, another hetu says it is anitya. So two hetus are fighting with each other. They are opposing each other. Such hetus are not good hetus. Similarly, you have milk teeth are nitya because they are part of asti dhatu. Also, you have another sentence, milk teeth are anitya because they fall. Now, both sentences are here. There are two hetus opposing each other. Hence, they are sat pratipaksha hetvabhasa. Because of opposition between two hetus, it is a bad hetu. Okay. This is the third type of hetvabhasa. So, we have covered savyabhichara, viruddha, sat pratipaksha. Next is asiddha hetvabhasa. Let me tell you, when 5 marks question is asked on hetvabhasa, usually savyabhichara and asiddha types, they will ask for 5 marks because they have 3 subtypes under it. Okay. Asiddha hetvabhasa is of 3 types: ashraya siddha, swarupa siddha, and vyapyatva siddha. Ashraya siddha means where paksha is non-existent. Paksha is the ashraya for hetu and sadhya. That paksha is only not present. Then it is called ashraya siddha. Example is ashraya siddho yatha gaganaravindaha surabhihi. The sky lotus is very fragrant because it is a lotus, just like the lotus in the lake. So I am trying to prove the sky lotus is fragrant. with the example of the lotus in the pond. But does the sky lotus exist? No. We know there is no lotus in the sky. Hence, as this Gaganarav in the sky lotus is not there at all, it is Ashraya Asiddha Hetvabhasa. The Paksha is non existent. So, Hetu cannot be present on the Paksha in this case. Right? The next type is Swarupa Siddha. Swarupa here means Hetu Swarupa. The Hetu itself is non existent in the Paksha. For example, Shabdo Gunaha Chakshushatvat Rupattvavat. You are trying to prove Shabda is Guna with the help of the Hetu Chakshushatva. Is Chakshushatva possible to be present on Shabda? Chakshushatva means visibility. Shabda is something that is heard. Hearing and visibility have no connection. So this Hetu can never be present on this Paksha. In Shabda, you can have Shravanatva. Chakshushatva cannot be present in Shabda. So this Hetu is non-existent. Chakshushatva Hetu is non-existent on the Paksha. Hence it is called Swarupa Asiddha Hetvabhasa. The last type is Vyapyatva Siddha Hetvabhasa, where the Vyapti between Hetu and Sadhya is non-existent. See, if I say where there is smoke, there has to be fire, it is correct. But if I say if there is fire, there has to be smoke, it is a wrong Hetu. If I take fire as the cause, if I have seen fire, there has to be smoke, if I tell, it is wrong. Nowadays, the gas stoves that we have, there is fire, but there is no smoke. Even in heated iron ball, there is fire in it, there is no smoke, right? So, such where Vyapti is non-existent, the relation cannot be established always. Wherever there is fire, there need not be smoke, right? This Vyapti is not there, hence it is called Vyapyatva Asiddha Hetvabhasa. Now, you might say, if I pour a little water on that fire or I sprinkle water, smoke will come out. So, I can make this Vyapti right. It is a Hetvabhasa only. This Hetu is bad because Vyapti is not there. But I can add a condition apply, like sprinkling water on the fire, there will be smoke. So on applying a condition, I can rectify this. This condition is called as Upadhi. Okay. So if I apply a Upadhi, I can make the Vyapti right. But Hetu is bad only because it was not independently capable of proving the Sadhya, because it did not have a proper Vyapti with the Sadhya. So this is Vyapyatva Asiddha Hetvabhasa. We have completed 4 Hetvabhasas, that is Savyabhichara Hetvabhasa, Viruddha Hetvabhasa, Satpratipaksha Hetvabhasa and Asiddha Hetvabhasa. Last one is Badhita Hetvabhasa. Badhita means what is proven by Anumana will be disproven by other Pramanas. Let me give an example. Vannihi Anushno Dravyatvat Jalavat. The fire is cold because it is a Dravya, just like water. I am trying to prove by Anumana Pramana, because fire is a Dravya, Tejo Mahabhuta is a Dravya, just like water is a Dravya. Water is cold, hence fire is also cold. I am trying to prove by Anumana. But by Pratyaksha, on touching fire, I know it is hot, right? So Pratyaksha is opposing the Anumana Pramana here. Hence, the Hetu in Anumana Pramana is Badhita. It is a Hetvabhasa. It is disproven by Pratyaksha. So these are the 5 types of Hetvabhasa. Apart from this, Charaka has mentioned 3 Hetus. Let me tell you, this is not in the context of Anumana Pramana, but in the context of Vada or debate, that these 3 types of Ahetus are told. So these 3, when you want to prove yourself, these 3 Hetus are bad Hetus. You cannot prove yourself through this. What are those? Prakarana Sama, Samshaya Sama, Varanya Sama are the 3 Ahetus according to Charaka. Prakarana Sama means whatever statement you tell in a debate, if you re-emphasize the same statement as the cause to prove your statement. Whatever I want to prove, the cause I use is also the same thing. Then it is Prakarana Sama. For example, Anya Sharirat Atma Nityaha. That Atma which is different from the body is Nitya, is what I am debating on. And the reason I give is Anya Sharirat Atma, because Atma is different from Sharira. If you see, I am actually restating my proposition. I am restating what I want to prove as the hetu also. That I should not be doing. If I restate my sentence itself as the hetu, then it is prakarana sama ahetu. I lose in the debate. It is a ahetu. That which is the paksha, that itself should not be stated as hetu. Ya eva pakshaha sa eva hetu. If what is the paksha you want to prove, same you are telling as hetu, then it is prakarana sama ahetu. It is a bad hetu. Samshaya samahetu. If your opponent asks a doubt and you clarify the doubt with repeating his doubt. For example, you ask teacher a doubt, instead of giving the answer to you, solution to you, if the teacher again tells you your doubt itself as the answer, samshaya sama ahetu it becomes. You repeat the doubt as the clarification for doubt. For example, Ayurveda ekadesha aha kim vayam chikitsakaha. Can we call these people as chikitsaka as they know a part of Ayurveda? And my reply will be, as they know a part of Ayurveda, they can be considered as chikitsaka. So I just restated what they had told first. What they had doubted, no? That itself I give to clarify the doubt. This should not happen. Ya eva samshaya hetu, sa eva samshaya cheda hetu. What caused the doubt, same thing you use as reason to clarify the doubt, then it is a samshaya sama ahetu. It is not a good hetu. You lose the debate. Varnya sama ahetu. Here what happens? I want to prove something. I give an example. And the example I give also is not yet proven. So both are yet to be proven. The thing I want to prove is also not proven yet. The example I give also is not proven yet. Then it is varnya sama ahetu. For example, asparshatvat buddhihi anityaha. Because we cannot touch buddhi, it is anitya. This is what I want to prove in a debate. And the thing I use is shabdatva, audibility. Audibility also I cannot touch, and therefore it is anitya I want to prove. But we are not sure even now audibility is anitya or nitya. So the example also is not yet proven. Then how can I prove whether buddhi is nitya or anitya? So the example stated also is unproven. Then it is called varnya sama. Varnya shabdo buddhirapi varnya ubhaya varnya avishishtatvat varnya samo ahetu. The statement is also yet to be proven and the example given also is yet to be proven. That type of statements are called varnya sama ahetu. Actually, with this, ahetu or hetvabhasa context is over. Finally, we have what is the importance and application of Anumana Pramana in Ayurveda. This is again a 10 marks question, where in exam you will be asked, define Anumana Pramana. Tell us Anumana Gamya Bhavas. I hope you have seen this in previous question paper. Anumana Gamya Bhava means through Anumana, what all you can infer in the patient's body. Anumana Gamya Bhavas. So application of Anumana Pramana is what is expected here. Okay? Or they may directly ask, explain the importance and application of Anumana Pramana for 10 marks. Okay? So importance you should always remember. Pratyaksha is the most valid Pramana. But in the world, very limited things are pratyaksha. Apratyaksha things are more, for which Anumana, etc. Pramanas are important. Pratyaksham hi alpam, analpam apratyaksham. There is lot which is apratyaksha. Okay. Hence, Anumana, etc. Pramanas become important. Where all can you apply this? In physiology, you can apply. For example, in physiology, you learn what are vata gunas, what are pitta gunas, right? When you see those gunas in the body, you can infer those doshas in physiology. You see the karma and infer the dravya. You see the guna and infer the dravya, right? You see rukshadi gunas, you know it is vata that is there, right? So in physiology, this is how Anumana is applied. In pathology, again, you have Vata Vriddhi Lakshana, Vata Kshaya Lakshana. You see Karshya, Karshnya, Ushna Kamitva. You know there is Vata Vriddhi. You infer there is Vata Vriddhi. So in pathology, again, you see the Lakshanas and you infer which Roga it might be. Right? These are all Anumana Pramana application in pathology. Also in diagnosis, where Roga Rogi Pariksha, both you will require Anumana Pramana. Where you will question, Rogi will tell you a few things on interrogation. Based on the things told in history by the patient, you will infer what all disease he can get, or what is the dosha vaishamya that is occurring, right? So in diagnosis, rogarogi pariksha also, Anumana plays an important role. And these are the Anumana Gamya Bhavas given in Charaka Vimana 4th chapter. Few of the examples I have quoted you, there are many more. I request all of you to learn minimum of 10 out of those. This is the reference, Charaka Vimana 4th chapter 8th shloka, Agnim Jarana Shaktya. You can infer the Agni of a person, digestive fire, by seeing how much he is capable of digesting. Jarana Shakti, how it is, based on that Agni can be inferred. Exercising capability of a person helps you to infer the strength of a person. Harsham Amodena, seeing a pleasant face, you can make out the person is happy. By a happy appearance or pleasant appearance, you can infer the preeti. Affectionate face will tell you there is love in the person's heart. By seeing depressed feeling in a person, you know there is some hidden fear. Like this, by seeing one thing, you can infer. Many examples are given in Charaka Vimanasthana. I request all of you to learn at least 10 so that you can write it under Anumana Gamya Bhavas when it is asked in exam. Okay? In research also, you have few things, facts, based on which you will infer. You have a new drug in market, you will see its gunas and you will infer what all actions it may do in future. So there is prospective research. Then there are retrospective research. You already know what this drug does. You try to analyze and see what all qualities it has because of which it is doing this action. You go back in time, retrospective research. Okay, so prospective is Karanat Karyanumana, retrospective is Karyat Karananumana. Also, you have this Panchavayava Vakya, right? Where you state something, you give causes, you then give examples, you try to bring reason and the pratigna together and you conclude. Similarly, in research also, you have hypothesis, discussion, analysis, and conclusion. So, Panchavayava Vakya is applied in research also. Also, the concept of Sadhetu and Hetwabhasa that we learned will help us if the causes used in research are good, our research hypothesis is right. If we adapt to wrong Hetus, our research hypothesis will be rejected. So, research will fail, right? So, this is how Sadhetu, Asadhetu concept is also applied in research. Apart from that, while doing sadhyata, deciding prognosis also, and during chikitsa also, Anumana plays an important role. You see that the patient, despite giving treatment, is not responding. You say this is going towards asadhyata. You say the yavanastha avastha is there in the patient, or Daivabala is good in a patient, you say there is Sadhya Avastha. If you say the Vyadhi is Nava, we call it Sadhya. Vyadhi is Purana, it goes towards Asadhyata. So you infer things based on the visible things, even in prognosis. Similarly, treatment modality also, if you see symptoms of Vata Vriddhi, if you see there is, like for Chikitsa also, you give, there is pain in joint, you think. You don't know whether it is Amavata or Sandhivata. You will apply oil, ask patient to apply oil. On giving this chikitsa, next day the swelling has increased. Then you know it is not pure Vataja, it is not Sandhivata, it is Amavata. So by chikitsa, you can do few inferences. So when you don't know the Vyadhi properly, you give a specific chikitsa. Based on that, you can infer which Vyadhi it is also. Okay, Anumana Pramana is also used in Punarjanma Siddhi. Charaka in Sutrasthana 11th chapter says there is something called Paralokeshana, under which he tries to prove Paraloka and Punarjanma, where Anumana Pramana has been used to explain or prove that Punarjanma exists. Okay, apart from this, you can write any other Gamya Bhavas that you feel. See, these are just examples that I have quoted till now. Any other logical points where you see a part and you infer based on it. All that can be quoted under application of Anumana Pramana in Ayurveda. In the same context, Tarka has been quoted in your syllabus. I would want you to recall, I said Anumanam Khalu Tarko Yukti Apeksha. Tarka is a part of Anumana, right? Now, if you remember, while reading syllabus point 1, you had something called Prama and Aprama. And in Aprama type, you had Tarka. So, in case argumentation or discussion is useless, you are discussing just to prove yourself right. See, there is something called proving who is right and proving what is right. If you are behind proving who is right, you will always try to prove yourself right and do a bad argumentation. Such bad argumentations are called tarka. Such tarkas are aprama, not good. But if your argumentation is to find out what is right, to find out the truth, then tarka becomes a part of prama. So this tarka is a aprama part also, is a part of prama also, right? When a part of anumana pramana or a part that helps us to prove something true, then it is prama. So, as aprama, tarko anishta prasangaha is the definition. Tarka is a futile argumentation, useless argumentation. This is aprama tarka. Prama tarka is vyapya aropanena vyapaka aropanaha tarkaha. By seeing one entity, if you can discuss and reach at another entity, starting with a preposition, ending on a conclusion, or just like in Anumana, you have starting from a hetu, reaching till the sadhya. Such vyapya and vyapaka finding out is called as tarka. Avijnata tatve arthe karanopapatitah tattva jnanartham uhaha tarkaha. That uha, guesswork that you do through seeing visible things to prove unseen things is called as tarka. So it is almost in lines to Anumana Pramana, if you see. So the discussions that help you to reach unseen or unknown through the known or seen things is called as tarka. Of course, tarka as a part of Anumana, you have Anumanam Khalu, Tarko Yukti Apeksha, where tarka becomes a part of Anumana. Some people have said tarka can be divided into three types because there is aprama also, you should know this. One is general tarka, which is sequential understanding, okay, which can change with time. So moderners told peanut oil is good for health for some time. Then later they discussed, argued, and they said no, peanut oil is bad for health. Then later again they say peanut oil is good for health. Same for coconut oil. So not that they wanted to prove they are right. They were in pursuit of right only. But this is changing. The knowledge got through this tarka keeps changing, then it is just tarka. Kutarka is where you don't apply right logics. You apply wrong logics to prove yourself right. Kutarka, bad tarka. Where just to prove yourself right, you will argue. That is kutarka. Vitarka is scholarly people get together, apply logic and reach truth. That is vitarka. So three types of tarka are tarka, kutarka and vitarka. So as we already know, Anumana Pramana is a part of this tarka is a part of Anumana Pramana, or tarka aids, helps in getting Anumana Pramana. It is the blend of tarka and yukti together that helps us in Anumana Pramana. So tarka is a associate tool for us in Anumana Pramana. Then application of tarka or importance of tarka, you should understand this is a 5 marks question in exam. They'll ask you to define tarka and give its application. So first application is Nyaya Siddhi. It helps you to prove some hypothesis. This helps you to analyze and conclude things. That is first. Second is Tarka helps in Swavakya Siddhi. It helps you to prove your points. Your point of view, when you're right, it helps you to prove. Pratipaksha Vakya Khandanam. It also helps you to disprove the Vakyas of opponent. So in a debate, Tarka helps you. Arriving at Yathartha Jnana is also what Tarka does. Tarka helps you in arriving at Yathartha Jnana, that is true knowledge. Also, Tarka helps you to understand probabilities. Because you are going towards what is true, you will have anekantas. You will have this is one possibility. This also can be true. This also can be true. It gives you a broad spectrum of truths. It gives you a broad vision where it says truth needn't be only one. It can have several perspectives. So Tarka helps you to know the probabilities. With this, syllabus point 4 of Padartha paper 2 is over. So I have just pulled in few 10 marks question that you can expect from this syllabus point. Define Anumana and explain its classification. Write about Anumana Gamya Bhavas. Here, definition of Anumana is to be written. Then, Chakrapandi's classification, Nyaya Darshana classification, Tarka Sangraha classification is to be written with examples. Then you write Anumana Gamya Bhavas means application of Anumana Pramana are to be written. Then, Another question you can expect is define Anumana, explain importance and application of Anumana Pramana. This is very direct. Then another question is define Hetva Bhasa. Then explain various types of Hetva Bhasa. Here you should define first. You should say what are the doshas in Hetus that will lead to Hetva Bhasa. Then you tell 5 types of Hetva Bhasa. Give explanation with example. And for 5 marks, these are the expected question. Define Anumana, explain Padartha Anumana, explain classifications of Anumana with example, explain Pancha Avayava Vakya. This is a part of Padartha Anumana. I hope you remember. Write definition and types of Hetu. This is another 5 marks question. Similarly, write definition and types of Vyapti. I want you to recall Hetu is 3 types: Kevalanvayi, Kevala Vyatireki, and Anvaya Vyatireki. Vyapti is of 2 types. Okay? Anvaya Vyapti and Vyatireka Vyapti. That is what is expected answer for these 2. Define Hetva Bhasa. Explain Savya Bichara Hetva Bhasa may be the question. Or define Hetva Bhasa. Explain Asiddha Hetva Bhasa may be the question. Remember, these 2 types have 3 subtypes in it. You should explain the subtypes with the example. Definition of Hetva Bhasa is a must to learn. Also, explain a Hetu according to Charaka. So you mentioned it is told in the context of Vada Marga, where debating skills are told. These are a Hetus which will make one lose in a debate. Okay, these are 3 types: Prakarana Sama, Samshaya Sama, and Varnya Sama. And you explain it with example. Then another 5 marks question expected is explain Anumana Gamya Bhavas. This again is application of Anumana Pramana. Then last, define Tarka, its types and its importance. This is what we did in the end. Okay, definition, its types are Tarka, Kutarka, and Vitarka. Importance, of course, we learned 5 importance of Tarka that you will have to pull in here. So this is the expected probable questions. I hope what I have dealt today, considering that this was dealt to you in the college also earlier, I hope this has clarified a few points. Okay, I have shared my contact details here. In case anybody needs to ask doubts, you can ask. Feel free to contact me also for any doubts. All the very best for your examination. I'll stop here and I'll hand over again to Anagha. Anagha?
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was definitely a very informative session. Most of the students will be feeling like this concept is huge, we cannot understand it, but you have made very easily the definitions as well, which was short to remember, and it was very easy for writing in exams also. You have also shared what have to be written in the paper to gain marks also, ma'am. You have also mentioned so many questions previous years. They'll be very easy for them to identify also, and it will be very easy to learn the topic as well. Thank you so much, ma'am. Even in your busy schedule, you took some time for our organization and you delivered this session. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Anagha, and I really want to appreciate the
Ma'am, if
initiative.
any doubts regarding this topic, we'll be sharing the questions for you, ma'am. The answers also will be sharing for the students as well.
Yeah, I think in this session I won't be able to interact because they'll be actually seeing this recorded.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We'll be sharing this video in our YouTube channel. If any
Okay,
queries regarding it, we'll be sharing it to you, ma'am.
certainly. I'll be more than
Thank you
happy
so
to
much.
help them out. And I want to appreciate your
Thank you, ma'am.
organization for taking up such a wonderful initiative. Okay, it is for the good of the student, and I think this type of initiatives should be taken more. So, best wishes. I
Thank you,
hope
ma'am.
you continue this good work.
Thank you
So,
so
I think
much,
we
ma'am.
can log off now.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anagha.